touchdown. The Titans take out the defending champions.
I love playing for this team. I love playing for this team for 2 decades and winning a lot of games. And again, I don't know what it looks like moving forward, so we'll just take it day by day. So thank you guys, appreciate it.
I knew things were coming to an end.
Tom Brady took a physical in New York City yesterday. The contract is signed. Tom Brady now officially a member of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
My decision was made mid-March of 2020.
Going to training camp, I didn't know if we were going to have a season, if we were going to get to the start of the year. When we got to the start of the year, no one thought are we going to get 5 games in? So how many games did we get? 10, 12?
There were 0 preseason games. He got thrown into the fire against his division rival at New Orleans, which I said was as unfair an opening game schedule as you could ever find in the history of this league, with a man joining a new team and a new coaching staff.
Miami, here's a pass. It is picked. Intercepted and back the other way, Marcus Williams.
Brady finished 23 of 36, 239 measly yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, a fumble, which he recovered, but it was a fumble. Brady looked old and didn't look good.
Because not only did he give a big six.
This one's picked. Back the other way for the touchdown.
It was behind it. He does not have that kind of arm strength to stand on one hash and throw it clearly across the field. He can't do that on a consistent basis.
Yet I'm here to tell you, I think Belichick, even with the tougher schedule, is likely to win more games.
Oh, Tom Brady has all these weapons. Tom Brady is washed.
I'm going to make a prediction. They're going to look much better against Carolina's defense next week.
Brady pumps and throws. Back shoulder for Evans, and just like that, touchdown, Tampa Bay.
There's a lot of things that are different. I think when it comes to football, a lot of those things are the same. Trust and communication, and it's about all being on the same page so people can anticipate and play with confidence. We got a long journey ahead on those things.
I said on Friday, Tom Brady would be overrated on Monday morning. Here we are on Monday morning, and everyone's overrating him. Tom Brady was meh.
How close is Tom Brady at the age of 43, right this minute, to being as good as any quarterback in the National Football?
Right there. He's right there with Patrick Mahomes and Russell Wilson. He looks like Tom Brady from 2017 to me, when he was 35 touchdowns and like 6 interceptions and doing whatever he wants with the football.
Caught ball by Vaughn. 3-2-1. Touchdown, Tampa Bay. 5 touchdown passes from Brady.
Did Brady prove that he's still elite?
No.
Well, he looked elite yesterday. 5 touchdown passes, 369 yards, overcoming a 24-7 deficit.
The last time he was elite was a year and a half ago. Great older players can still recapture magic on a certain night, right? But can he do it consistently? Well, he hasn't now for a year and a half.
In the last 3 weeks, he has 15 touchdowns, 1 interception.
Protection, throws the deep ball toward the corner end zone. Scotty Miller in it. He's got the ball. Touchdown, Tampa Bay.
It was a perfect throw. I mean, it had to be perfectly thrown, and he's thrown. It's almost like he's playing 7-on-7 football when you watch him. I mean,
the idea that the Bucs now have Brady and now they're amazing. They have excellent defense. They have weapons wherever you look, including the quarterback. But let's not pretend that it's just about the quarterback.
Brady, a lob pass, back shoulder toward Mike. He makes the catch as he inbounds. Touchdown, Tampa Bay. What a catch by Evans. Perfect throw by Brady.
You are playing your now divisional rival, the other best team in the division. You've already lost one to them. You're about to get swept for the season against them if you lose this game.
And we played the worst game of the year.
Look out, and it's picked off, and he's stepping up, throws into traffic, and it's going to be hold.
Fuck!
to say Tom Brady struggled is a slap in the face to struggling. Thomas, Edward, Jameis, Winston, Brady, Sr. look awful.
How much of the blame is on Brady for this loss?
A lot of the blame.
Skip, they can't run the ball 5 times.
You realize that was the fewest in the history of the National Football League?
Skip, it was an awful night for Tom. Tom did not play particularly well.
They got their butts kicked in every single phase of the game. Offense, defense, coaching, special teams.
Trying to go to Godwin, and it's underthrown. Intercepted. This is where Tom Brady ranks this year. 25th 25th in completion percentage, 25th in yards per attempt. He ranks 5th in INTs. He's 15th in QBR.
On the 2nd and 8, had to get rid of it. Look out, it's picked off.
The Bucs have lost 3 of their last 4. We can all see this. This no risk it, no biscuit offense over
God
those areas.
damn it.
This isn't the one that Tom Brady's comfortable in. We're not seeing the play action. We're not seeing pre-snap motion.
You run play action pass 5 times. He goes 4 for 5, 83 yards. Patrick Mahomes ran play action pass 17 times.
And now you want a deep ball. Here it is. To Hill for the touchdown.
Right now, Bruce Arians is wasting Tom Brady. All you had to do was use him the right way, and he's completely failing Tom, and I've got fear that it's going to bury this football team this season.
Hey, say this. We've never been in this situation together, you know what I'm saying? Down grinding. So we got to learn a lot because we're going to be in these situations again, you know what I'm saying? This happened, right? Slow start, we go four wide right away, right? We haven't practiced that, you know? So a lot of it's coming up. So we're grinding out, make some good plays. Yeah. You guys got it? On one, ready?
You know, 7-5, we're going to the bye week, and we know that our best football's got to be ahead of us.
Tom Brady said, okay, that's enough. I got this. When they fell behind 17-0 at Atlanta, he said, I got this.
Throws a pass over the middle. It's a caught ball at the 5, 3, 2, 1-yard line. Receiver play after big pass. Caught ball, touchdown, Chris Godwin.
I told you it was a virtuoso. I told you it was a masterpiece. He threw for 320 yards in the second half at Atlanta against that same defense that went and shut down Patrick Mahomes.
Brady airing it out, going deep. He's got it to Antonio Brown.
Let me remind everyone, there were only virtual OTAs. Tom Brady got run out of some public park in Tampa because he was violating the quarantine. There were 0 preseason games. He got thrown into the fire against his division rival at New Orleans. It took a while to figure it out.
Brady, play action fake, dropping to the looks downfield, throws a deep ball, right sideline, caught ball, Gronkowski, touchdown, Tampa Bay. Holy guacamole.
The Bucs rout the Lions yesterday. Rick, they did it. The Bucs have finally made it back into the playoffs for the first time since 2007.
You know, what Bruce Arians has done, bringing in Tom Brady, it's paid off, right? They gambled on some free agents. Gronkowski comes in here, Antonio Brown. All those guys made big plays on Saturday and all year long, and that's why they're here.
They had a lot farther to go to get from where they were to where they are now than the Packers did or the Chiefs did. And that's one of the reasons I think that Brady deserves to be in the conversation for MVP.
They need to reach the Washington 33. Dropping deep, Brady throws the ball to the right side. He's got to be open. Antonio Brown, 3-2-1. Touchdown, Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
But they are cooking on offense right now.
Yeah.
And again, I'm going to remind everybody, Washington had a defense that Pro Football Focus ranked 3rd in the NFL going into Saturday night's game, and Tom Brady hung 507 yards with their total offense on a Washington defense that hadn't given up anywhere near that many yards.
I loved what I saw from Tom Brady, so I see things on offense. Got no issues there.
Big drive now! Big drive!
I did think Washington would be able to get a consistent pass rush, but they weren't able to get a consistent pass rush. And even the few times they did get home, Brady was able to follow it up with a very good play. And so I have to give him credit.
Tom Brady's looked excellent, and part of the, like I admit it, Brady has not just looked okay, or what you'd expect from an average quarterback given all the weapons. He's given you a clear premium over that. I admit it.
And for the first time since 2002, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers will win a postseason game.
The old man played very, very well. And so do I think Tampa can win the Super Bowl? Of course not.
The one man in sports I do not bet against would be that man. He is up against it this time. This is the worst matchup in football for him. There's nothing good about this matchup, but he's the one guy you wouldn't want to mess with in a 3rd game.
Do you believe that he will pull off this upset in New Orleans?
I don't, and I do think it would be an upset, not just according to the odds makers. I expect the Saints to win.
This one's picked, intercepted by the Bucs.
The last time they played each other, it was 38-3. Let's focus on the
Tampa only managed 3 points against this defense. Why should we believe it's going to be different on Sunday?
From the 3, Brady throws, pass caught, Evans touchdown.
All right, other side of the ball, Saints offense, all their weapons back, firing on all cylinders. Can the Buccaneers slow them down?
I don't know if they can.
Downfield, wide open receiver, inside the 10 to the 5, and it's Traquan Smith.
The last 5 teams that the Bucs played, they all have a losing record.
End zone, Smith spinning, and they got it for the touchdown.
We were losing the third quarter of that game on the road. They had a lot of confidence in what they were doing, and they had a lot of confidence that it was going to go a lot like it did on that Sunday night game. And I think we had a different idea.
Good protection again, pass caught, touchdown Fournette. Makes it 3rd and 11 now. The throw is what a catch!
Extended his body and caught it with 2 hands. Dropping to throw, Brady has time, looks downfield, throws a deep ball, down to Owen Miller, makes the catch at the 32-yard line.
I picked him and his Tampa Bay Buccaneers to win at New Orleans, and you all but laughed at me on this show sitting in that very seat.
Brady's gonna take it. Touchdown. Breeze able to step into this one. This one's up for grabs and picked.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers 30, New Orleans Saints 20. Tom Brady's the man. The Bucs are the team.
I'm glad we found a way, because losing to the same team 3 times a year would have been, oh man, for us would have been mind-blowing.
It took time. He brought them to a boil right on schedule, just in time to go up to the frozen tundra.
If you're an NFL player, I don't think there's any greater feeling than winning a road AFC Championship or NFC Championship game. But if you ever go to Lambeau Field for an NFC Championship game,
Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers. I trust Aaron Rodgers.
I do think the Packers are going to win.
Green Bay, I think, is the best team left. They don't turn it over, and they dominate time of possession. So Brady's the way you lose.
I'm going Rodgers.
His lows, he's less capable of hitting them, and his highs, he's more capable of reaching them, and they are higher. For that reason, your boy trusts Aaron Rodgers over Tom Brady.
those playoff games are the hardest games of the year. And some people elevate.
Brady floats it. He's got Evans. What a throw, and throws. Passes there. Perfect from Brady to Godwin.
Brady has all kinds of time. Throws toward the end zone. It is a caught ball. Touchdown, Tampa Bay, Mike Evans.
Brady slides. He's going for Godwin downfield. And a juggle and a catch.
It's 4th down and 3. Very little time left. 13 seconds.
You hit the 4th down play.
4th down and 3. The pass is caught. The first down picked up by Fournette.
And BA was like, you know, we're going for it. We're going to, let's take one shot.
Run, snap. Everyone's got to go.
Can they run something quick?
Brady goes for the deep shot. He's got a touchdown. Scotty Miller. Oh, my God.
Touchdown, Tampa Bay. Scotty Scooter Miller. And Brady puts it right on the spot. Bucs score with no time left, or very little in the first half. Brady goes toward the end. Caught ball. Touchdown, Tampa Bay. It is Cameron Wright. And the Buccaneers lead 27-10.
But we certainly gave one over at that point.
Rodgers slings it. Pass is caught. Touchdown, Tunyon. Good protection. Pass is picked by Amos. Now it's 3rd and goal. Extra men on the rush. Pass caught. Touchdown, Adams. Brady floats it. Pass is picked off the hands of Evans. Intercepted by Alexander. Under pressure, Evans. He is picked by Alexander again.
I still felt the whole time we're going to figure out how to win this game.
The spot is down. The kick is airborne, and it is good.
Makes this a 5-point game again.
Then we had to do something with the ball.
Trying to notch a win on Championship Sunday. Here's the snap and an end around to Godwin. Godwin running to the 30. He's got the first down across the 40. Bucs are going to win this football game.
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Tom Brady are going
videos so far, and also other Sideline Phillips content, be sure to subscribe and also become a channel member. You'll be able to watch videos early before they drop for the public, vote on exclusive member polls to determine what goes on the channel, and much more. Check it out in the description after the video.
I have more proof Kansas City's better than Tampa because I saw them chew them up and spit them out in Week 12.
But I'm going with Kansas City. I think too much offensive firepower when it counts.
31-27, it's going to be the Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes will defy logic and have the game of his life, and the Chiefs will win.
Listen, I'm taking Kansas City. I think this is it. I think we see the Chiefs play their best game of the football season this week in this game.
But Skip, I'm taking the Chiefs.
But look, I'm going with the Kansas City Chiefs, 34-27.
I have more proof that Tom will struggle early in this game. In the first half of his last 3 Super Bowls, 0 touchdowns, 3 picks, and a 74.2 quarterback rating. I've just got more signs that Kansas City's better, and more signs that Brady will struggle early and against pressure.
I was 2 weeks of watching film. Friday night, I was just going through the film. I knew Kansas City's defense better than they knew themselves.
Chiefs. Brady goes sideline, and he has his man.
They had beat us earlier that year, and I thought they thought it was going to go the same way.
Here's Brady's pass. It's Gronkowski. Back again.
I knew their body movements, the way their linebackers move, the way their safeties move.
1st and 10, Brady from the pocket. He's got Evans.
I got out there on the field. I looked as I was walking the line of scrimmage. I said, "Okay, they're blitzing." I walked up. I said, "Okay, they're going to bail to cover 2. Ball snap, cover 2."
Play action fake. Brady looking, looking. Throws toward the end zone.
I felt like I had studied so much film for 2 weeks. There was really no blitz he could use that I wasn't going to be prepared for.
There's the pass, and there's the catch for the touchdown. Antonio Brown.
And when something looked a little funky based on my film study, I had an answer for it, and then I was able to go out there and play with a lot of confidence.
It's Gronkowski running through that secondary.
I remember sending clips to my teammates the morning of the game. I was just filming things on my iPhone of my computer screen and then sending it to my teammates saying, "Hey, if we get this look, this is what I want you to do."
Tom was texting us 6 o'clock, 5:30 in the morning. Know what to expect.
Fournette. Touchdown.
Nobody thought we'd shut out that offense. I mean, that was like one of the great defensive performances in the history of NFL.
Running for his life. Mahomes got it away. Incomplete. Trying to find the end zone. And no. How about that? One last indignity. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers have a 2nd Super Bowl title in franchise history. You're looking at the greatest right there.
We're going to need to get you a bigger locker.
Roger that.
At what point did you realize Steph Curry was one of those guys? You know, one of the all-time greats who revolutionized the sport, becoming part of the elite group of players we call legends. Someone make the case that it happened in 2016 after capturing the first unanimous MVP in NBA history. Others would say it was after leading a dynasty to 3 championships in 4 years. But what you often hear is that Steph undeniably cemented himself as one of those guys after what he did in 2022. In one of the all-time great playoff runs, we saw a version of Curry that we'd never seen before, as he single-handedly willed the Warriors to a title. He sent teams to bed, delivered a legacy-defining finals performance, and launched a barrage of three-pointers that silenced any doubt around his greatness. Steph's 2022 playoff run was a masterpiece, one worthy of a legend.
People say, what do you think about this shit?
Yeah.
Absolutely nothing.
KD went off to Brooklyn in free agency, it was announced that Klay would be sidelined with a torn ACL for the entire 2020 season, and just 4 games in, Steph broke his hand and his season was over. After a memorable 5-year final stretch where they won 3 titles in 4 years and offered us countless iconic moments, the message from the basketball gods was loud and clear. Golden State's reign over the NBA was done. In fact, they took it one step further. Just weeks out from making his long-awaited return for the 2021 season, Klay suffered a devastating Achilles tear that would sideline him for another year. An absolutely gut-wrenching moment for the franchise. But the one bright spot in all of this is that the baby-faced assassin was about to go on a killing spree.
Curry way downtown. Bang! Steph Curry from just looking stiff. Showing the handle on him. Another 3. Got it! 62! Curry, three-pointer. That's good. Steph Curry with an instant 3 goal. Scores it! Steph! Oh, how did Steph make that? He's trying to draw another foul, and it goes in! Oh, how about Curry? Curry another 3. Puts it in. Back to the game has been broken. This man is a walking cheat code.
In a season that many argue was up to par or even better than his 2016 campaign, Curry averaged 32 a night on god-tier efficiency, finished 3rd in MVP voting, but they lost in the play-in game to the Memphis Grizzlies. Curry took them as far as humanly possible, and now 3 years removed from his last title, the media doubted his ability to carry a team back to the mountaintop. They said it was over. The noise was loud after that loss to Memphis, but deep down, Steph knew it wasn't over just yet.
Bottle this up, everybody make the right strides, take advantage of the summer, and you don't want to see us next year.
Curry's message echoed throughout the NBA as the Warriors came out with a flaming hot 18-2 record to start the season. It was magical. The Dubs were among championship favorites, Steph was in the MVP conversation once again, and as the calendar flipped to December, he was on the cusp of something he'd been chasing his entire career. On December 14th, 2021, Steph was entering Madison Square Garden, just 2 3-pointers away from breaking the NBA's all-time 3-point record, and it took him no time to make history.
I can't even remember. Curry went to 5. Oh, and there it is. Right away. He is tied Rio. Guarding it from the start. Wiggins again. Here's Curry for the record. It's good. There it is. Stephen Curry. The all-time 3-point king in the NBA. 3-pointer number 2974. The man who changed the game. The igniter of the 3-point revolution in the NBA. And now he stands alone at the top.
The greatest shooter ever. Officially, we knew Steph was the GOAT shooter for a while, but now he was immortalized as the 3-point king of the NBA. The Chef's record-breaking night gave the Warriors a boost, and as Klay returned halfway through the season, he kicked it into overdrive, and it was smooth sailing from that point forward. Until it wasn't. In a potential finals matchup against the Boston Celtics just weeks out from the start of the playoffs, Marcus Smart dives for a loose ball and lands directly on Curry's left ankle. And it was bad. He'd leave the game and was diagnosed with a left foot sprain, putting him out for the final 12 games of the regular season. Thankfully, Golden State finished the year strong and snagged the 3rd seed in the West, but the health of their MVP was worrisome, especially headed into a first-round matchup against the MVP. Headed into round 1, the Warriors got some good news. Steph was good to go. Well, sort of. He'd be coming off the bench for the splash homie, Jordan Poole, and it proved to be a deadly tag team duo. The Dubs Dubs clobbered Denver by 16, Steph shook off some rust, and he got rolling in Game 2. A filthy spinning layup in traffic and a fake that had Jamichael Green spinning before draining the step-back three to the and one. He is ecstatic to be back in the playoffs. The chef fried the Nuggets for 34, and they go up 2-0. In Game 3, six-man Steph poured in 27 at altitude. They squeezed out a 5-point win to go up 3-0, and in Game 4, he went stupid. 33 points, 8 assists, and 4 steals for his second 30-piece off the bench. And in a nutty 15-point fourth quarter, he did this.
Now they corral Curry with the double. Got it! 4 on the floor for Steph.
4 on the floor for Steph with a cold-ass celebration. Denver ended up winning that game, but I don't even care. That was tough. Inserted back into the starting lineup in Game 5, Steph went nuts for 35 and 5, including a dominant 11-point fourth quarter. With no bucket more clutch than this lefty scoop layup to push the lead to 5, putting Denver and the MVP to bed. Night, night. You don't want to see us next year. Those were the words uttered by Steph after Memphis sent them home last season. 4
on the floor
for his second 30-piece off the bench. And in a nutty 15-point fourth quarter, he did this.
Now they corral Curry with the double. Got it! 4 on the floor for Steph.
Went in. The Dubs still Game 1 on the road, and he let the young Grizzlies hear it. As John Morant and Jaren Jackson Jr. stand under the hoop stunned. And with the Grizzlies up 2 with less than 40 seconds left, Klay comes off a screen, fakes, fires, and buries the go-ahead 3. Steph knew it was good before it even went in. The Dubs still Game 1 on the road, and he let the young Grizzlies hear it. As John Morant and Jaren Jackson Jr. stand under the hoop stunned, Curry comes up to them with a huge smile on his face, saying,
What the hell, fellas? Come on! Come on! I know!
Steph is a psycho, but his taunting didn't age well in the short term. In Game 2, Ja went full guns a-blazing, erupting for 47, 8-8 in a 5-point win to tie the series at 1. And he gets a little payback. After the buzzer sounds, he walks by Steph, telling him, "We're about to have some fun." Obviously, that was in reference to what Curry said at the end of Game 1. But, I mean, come on, man. This is Wardell, Steph, and Curry. In a Game 3 response, 30 went for 30 as they obliterated Memphis by 30. It was poetic. And in Game 4, with an opportunity to go up 3-1, Curry surprisingly came out flat. Through 3 quarters, he had just 14 points on a rough 6 of 18 shooting, with the Dubs down 7. So, feeling the weight of the moment, Steph came out in the 4th, looking for blood. He scoops home an and-one lay to cut the lead to 5, comes off a pick and lasers a catch-and-shoot 3. He then loses Dylan Brooks and bombs a 3. The Memphis lead is just 1. He finds space and fades for the tough midi over 2 defenders. Tie game. At the 45-second mark, he knocks down 2 free throws to give Golden State their first lead of the night, and they never look back. Steph delivered in the clutch with a monster 18-point fourth quarter. Golden State goes up 3-1. Game 5 with a chance to close it out, though, was a nightmare. They got annihilated by 39 on the road, setting up a Game 6 back in the Bay, and it was a Splash Bro classic. Game 6 Klay made his long-awaited return, exploding for 30 for the Warriors in a return to the NBA Finals. And considering this dude just embarrassed the NBA's #1 seed in the second round, they were about to have their hands full. However, in Game 1, that wasn't the case. With 7 players scoring in double digits, the Dubs massacred Dallas by 25. But Game 2 was showtime. It was an all-out duel between Luka and Steph as these offensive juggernauts went back and forth at each other with some of the toughest shot making you'll ever see. The Don showed out for a light 42, but it was the chef who served up at the right time.
But see how they rotated him to pick up Looney. Curry through traffic. Curry, 3 right and fire. And his signature with the kiss.
A tough and one on Luka into a pump fake sidestep 3 for the dagger to seal the Game 2 win with an early series night-night. A sign of what was to come. After dropping 32 in Game 2, Curry put his team on the cusp of a 3-0 series lead, and the Human Torch wasn't going to let that opportunity slide. In an absolute shooting clinic, Steph rained down bomb after bomb after no-look bomb for 31, 5, and 11 in the win. It's not fair. Dallas managed to snag one at home in Game 4 before Steph and the Warriors sent them packing with a gentleman's sweep on home court. Golden State is headed back to the NBA Finals, and to no surprise, Curry is named the Western Conference Finals MVP. But don't let that smile fool you. He wanted more. The killer inside of him wanted much, much more. Three years after their last appearance, 2 years after having the worst record in the NBA, 1 year after missing the playoffs, the Warriors are back in the NBA Finals against a storied franchise desperate for a championship. But not as desperate as one man, and the first quarter of Game 1 made that very clear.
Curry missing his first 3 lows. They leave Curry all alone, and that's behind the screen. A bunch of shooters and scorers. Williams looks at that 3, and he laces it down the corner screen. Somebody throw water on Steph Curry. Curry behind the screen. Oh, they lost him again. And he makes the pay. He's hotter than fish grease.
The dude was back like he never left, unleashing a Curry flurry with a 21.63 first quarter. Steph was back, the Warriors were back, but Boston didn't give a damn. After weathering the flurry, they caught fire in the fourth to walk away with a shocking Game 1 win on the road. But Game 2 wasn't much of a shock. Steph and the Warriors answered with a dominant performance to win by 19 and tie the series at 1, headed to Boston. Game 3 in one of the most hostile environments in the NBA was a real test for these Warriors, as they found themselves down 12 at the end of the first half. Sensing the game slipping away, Steph hopped in the driver's seat in the third quarter and hit the gas. A quick pop shot right wing 3, a wet top of the key triple, a smooth pullback mid-ranger, a 30-foot missile plus the foul. Yup, count 'em up, Steph. And another to cap off a dazzling 15-point third quarter to cut the lead to 4. It was legendary stuff. Unfortunately, it wasn't enough as the Celtics pulled away late. And with 4 minutes to go in the fourth, it got worse. On a scramble for a loose ball, Al Horford dives on the floor and lands right on Curry's left ankle. The same one Marcus Smart had landed on late in the regular season that had Steph out for over 12 games. He's clearly very shaken up, screaming in pain and wincing as he gets up. Minutes later, he subs out of the game and sits on the bench with a towel on top of his head. this doesn't look good.
Steph Curry is laying down. Curry is limping right now. He's upset.
But we sitting there, and he looked, just like, enjoy y'all last win. That was game 3. And I was just like, like us? Like it's 2-1. Like, what you mean? Like, I'm sitting here like this. I'm like, man, what size am I? Like, look, I need my ring size. Yeah, nah.
Curry, another long distance shot. It's good. Steph Curry. White closes out. Curry drives. High off the glass. Curry launches a three. It's good. Steph Curry with his third three-pointer. Curry. It's good. Steph Curry from downtown. Maybe some second shots. Curry again. Oh, Steph Curry from way downtown. He's furious. There was contact there. Back to Curry. Step back. Three-pointer. Steph Curry drills the three. That's a 6-point Warriors lead. Timeout Boston.
In a game that can only be described as the defining moment of his entire career, Steph Curry put on a show for the ages. Down 2-1 in the series, behind enemy lines, in what may very well be his last gasp at a championship, the man single-handedly willed his team to victory with a 43-point masterpiece. The emotion and intensity Steph displayed was atypical. You don't see him act in this fashion too often. He was playing with the desperation of a man who knew this moment may never come again. He truly tapped into a zone that only the greats can reach. It was the performance of a lifetime. After his Game 4 carry job, Steph was out of gas in Game 5. But thankfully, Wiggins, Clay, and Poole were there to pick up the slack to close out a crucial Game 5 win at home to get themselves within one win of a championship. Back in Boston for Game 6, the Warriors were shot out of a cannon as they went on a blistering 21-0 run through the first and second quarter, allowing them to enter halftime up 15, with Steph about to make his imprint on this game. In the third, he gets 2 C's to fly by, and he rips the cord on a buttery sidestep triple. Moments later, he does the same to the Defensive Player of the Year for a stupidly deep look-away 3. A turnaround triple in a closeout game in the finals is psychotic. But, I mean, I guess I can't be too surprised. It's Stephen Curry.
Assist for Green. Curry a long three. That's good. Steph Curry from way downtown. Some Curry chaos here in the third. It's the largest lead of the game.
A 30-foot snipe from 30, and then he tells the crowd to give him his ring. The balls to do this in the third quarter is a joke. I mean, he can't even believe what he just did. Despite Steph wanting to end the game right then and there, he made one final statement. In a dominant fourth quarter, he lined up the seams one last time as he put the finishing touches on a career-defining season. One that saw him shatter the three-point record, be named one of the greatest players in the history of the game, and deliver a finals performance that will never be forgotten, while silencing all doubt around his greatness with a symbolic corner 3 that cemented him as a legend. Night, night.
At 6'2", he's extremely small for the NBA shooting guard position. Can overshoot and rush into shots. Not a great finisher around the basket due to his size and physical attributes. Needs to add some muscle to his upper body, but appears as though he'll always be skinny. Do not rely on him to run your team. That was the draft report on Stephen Curry.
And that'll do it. It's over. The Golden State Warriors return to a familiar place. They're on top of the NBA world. The fourth title in 8 years.
If you were to take one of your rings and give it to someone that doesn't have a ring, who would you give that ring to?
What a question. That's a great question. I've never answered this question before. It would not be Charles Barkley. I would pick Steve Nash, and I would pick Reggie Miller.
If you were to take one of your rings and give it to someone that doesn't have a ring, who?
I like that statement because I think the talent is doing it all.
Quit your bitching, you sloppy punk.
Hey there, how's it going? You see the title, so there's not too much preamble needed with this one. John Cena spent nearly 10 years proving he could do one thing extraordinarily well. Then, somewhere between Sisters and now, he stopped asking permission to do anything else. This video examines what happens when an actor finally breaks free from the typecast that made him famous, and how that process of discovery, messy, sometimes uneven, but genuinely committed, reveals a performer with far more depth than anyone expected. This is a new series I thought I'd try out since some of you might be looking for some fresh but familiar faces, who if you see their name attached to a script, you know it's probably going to be pretty good. So, if you like it, please let me know in the comments down below. Let's begin.
I'm a Marine.
The Marine follows John Triton, a U.S. Marine discharged from active duty who returns home to his wife and attempts to reintegrate into civilian life. The narrative is structured as a straightforward action thriller. Triton witnesses a carjacking, intervenes, and becomes the target of a criminal organization seeking revenge. This escalates into a full-scale pursuit across the landscape. The film doesn't concern itself with psychological complexity or moral ambiguity. It's built entirely around the question of whether Triton can protect his family using the skills and instincts that made him effective in combat. The plot is functional, and the stakes are clear. Cena plays John Triton with a particular kind of straightforwardness that matches the film's lack of pretension. He's not complicated, he's not particularly introspective. He's a man trained to respond to threats with decisive action, and the film asks him to do exactly that. Cena commits to the physicality required. He's built like a weapon, and he fights as if Chase Davenport is using the Triton app on him the whole time. His dialogue delivery is direct and functional. He speaks in short sentences. He doesn't waste words on exposition or emotional processing. What's notable about the performance is that Cena doesn't try to elevate the material. He doesn't reach for depth or nuance that the script doesn't provide. He grounds Triton in a kind of working-class competence. He's already at a much better starting point by not being horrendously bad at conveying lack of emotion, and you already know who I'm talking about. I'm specifically talking about The Rundown. And looking at these films side by side, I'd say it's a fair comparison since earlier roles typically don't demand much psychological unraveling. John is a man whose entire identity is built around being useful in crisis, and Cena plays that with a quiet confidence, a cheesy bratha smirk, if you will. 326 was kind of trash, by the way, but I digress. When violence erupts, John's response is immediate and proportionate. When he speaks to his wife, there is genuine affection beneath the surface action hero exterior. Cena understands that Triton doesn't need to be complex to be functional, and he never overemphasizes his core traits. The Marine is important primarily as a baseline. It's Cena playing exactly what people expect him to play at that point in his career, a physically imposing action hero with limited range beyond the physical. He's a serviceable lead in a serviceable action film, and that's enough. Cena's Triton is a basic but honest embodiment of the grounded utilitarian soldier archetype, and The Rundown is like if you let The Rock tell you that in Chinese.
Listening to Cal tell me that you two wrestle like you talk, and I'm thinking, I want that. I want my son.
Legendary follows a much smaller story. The film centers on Cal Chetley, a quiet high school student who joins the wrestling team while dealing with the emotional fallout of his family falling apart. His older brother Mike, played by John Cena, has been in prison for years after a violent incident tied to the death of their father. When Mike returns home, the story shifts into a familiar sports drama structure. A younger brother searching for confidence and an older brother trying to rebuild his life while guiding him through it. There are no criminal syndicates or cross-country chases here. Just family tension, guilt, and a wrestling season acting as the framework for reconciliation. Cena's role works because he approaches Mike with restraint instead of the blunt force action hero energy people expected from him. Physically, he still looks like a tank, but the performance is deliberately more stoic. Mike carries the posture of someone who knows he messed up and doesn't really have the language to explain it. Cena keeps his dialogue simple and low-key, speaking in short, careful sentences like someone constantly measuring what he says. The film leans on his physical presence as credibility. This is clearly the older brother who could protect you in a fight. But the interesting part is that he spends most of the runtime trying not to be that guy anymore. He's patient with Cal, encouraging without being overly sentimental, and the mentorship angle becomes the emotional backbone of the movie. Cena doesn't try to oversell the drama. Mike is essentially a big brother just trying to make up for lost time. Cena plays him exactly at that level. The seriousness in his delivery feels grounded, and it gives the film a bit more sincerity than you might expect from a WWE sports story. The Marine with Cena leaning fully into the unstoppable action archetype. Legendary is the early glimpse of him dialing things back and letting presence do the work.
Miles Jackson, we heard he tried to contact. Yeah. Guy breaks out of prison, FBI knows about it, nobody tells me. You understand that you're
12 Rounds is as a real-time action thriller where a New Orleans detective named Danny Fisher is forced to participate in a series of increasingly dangerous challenges orchestrated by a criminal mastermind seeking revenge. The film is built entirely around escalation and ticking clocks. Each round presents a new puzzle, a new threat, a new reason for Danny to be a horse chasing a carrot dangling over their head, or whatever the saying is. The narrative moves from crisis to crisis, each one designed to test Danny's ability to think under pressure while racing against impossible deadlines. The plot is a vehicle for action sequence and puzzle-solving set pieces. There's no thematic depth or emotional resonance. The film exists to watch its